Right then, folks, welcome back to an episode of Hero to Villain with me, Benji FM. Today, then, we talk about our summer transfers and with a week left of the window, what still needs to be done. So it's been an interesting window, really. I say interesting. It's been, from a perspective of signings, it's been quite an underwhelming window. Lots going on here. We'll talk about that in a minute then. But you can see a few boys have come in, a few have left as well. Josh Earl, who was a backup left back, has moved off to Middlesbrough for a little bit of money, and Ryan Brewster has gone to Lorient for a little bit of money as well. Thought I'd get more for Brewster, frankly. 2.5 million, a little bit disappointing considering his value at the end of last season. We kept him around thinking we would play him, didn't really materialise, and I now worry we could have got maybe 10-15 million for him last year, and we didn't even capitalise on that. So never mind though, he's off to France. You can see then 4 names have been brought in, and in fact there's actually 5 because as mentioned last episode as well, we've already got Lloyd Morgan, who was here last time, the Chelsea right back loanee, who was fantastic for us last year, is back again for another season. Fantastic to see him in the side once again. And he's joined by his loanee friend, Joseph Hurtado, who I've managed to get back again from Liverpool. Delighted to have him back in the squad. Was an absolutely pivotal part of our team last year and creates loads more depth in the centre, a position that right now we really don't have enough bodies in. But yeah, to bring him in, fantastic news. Again, 7.15, lots of goals and assists to his name as well last year. And you can see, has had quite a few loan spells. Hopefully, if it goes well, we get a little bit of money in the bank. We can maybe buy him next year. I'd love to have him as a regular member of our side, and Liverpool don't really seem too interested in giving him a chance. So, yeah, let me have him, Liverpool, please. Right then, 3 other names on this list, one of which hasn't got a work permit, and we'll start with him. Leonardo Vergara is the man that we have no work permit for and are trying to loan out. You'll notice there he's wanted, and there's lots of bids on him as well. 7, I think it is, or 7 teams interested. 5 loan bids around the globe, not in England, obviously, and because he's not got this work permit. He's on 35 grand a week, and for a player that's cost me 3.1 million, attribute-wise, viewers, I think we can be quite happy with that. What I think is going to have to happen is he's going to have to go away for a year, hopefully play quite well. We can offer him a new contract with a slightly higher value in terms of his wage per week, and then that should hopefully activate the work permit clause, unless he, of course, it's capped for Argentina in some way, and that might help us along that journey as well. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully at some point he'll get a work permit though, but we've got to wait at least 3 months, so I may as well loan him out rather than do nothing with him. 22 years of age. I need central midfielders, so this is annoying. Right, moving to, where do we go? Do we go striker or left back? We'll go striker. Nestor Rodriguez, 24-year-old Colombian who's got lots of goals for Colombia, in fact. And yeah, I think that for the value for money here, we've done really, really well. A different player to Raymond Lemons, and hasn't been scoring a hatload of goals in recent times, although was very successful in Colombia. Though what can you really take from that? I don't know. Probably not too much. 5.75 million though for a man with fantastic finishing, great first touch, heading looks very good as well. Physicals look absolutely fantastic. 6'2", could maybe play a similar role to how we play Lemons because he's got that decent heading and jumping reach. Maybe at 6'2" he can play a similar thing. Yeah, he's not 6'6", fair enough, but he's got really nice striking attributes. I wish his dribbling was slightly better, perhaps, but everything else I'm really pleased about. Quick, great composure and off the ball, and I think in the right system he could bang in a hatload of goals for us. Loves to move into channels as well, and I think as a lone striker I do actually really like that. So yeah, Nestor Rodriguez, another striker's been brought in, but one that I didn't think I could pass up for the money that he was available for. And finally, so far, the £20 million man. I asked my Discord channel a little bit what they thought about this guy. A few people thought it'd be a really good signing, a few didn't. There was the comment I got the most based on last episode was that Jack Hurst needed to have someone to come in to rival him, and whether this player is significantly better or not, I'm not too sure. Certainly significantly quicker, but is he as good going forward? That might be where the question marks lie for Holger Alkin. It's a good, I think it's a good solid fullback. Fantastic heading ability. I do quite like that. Jumping reach not great, but as long as his headers aren't going directly to the opposition, I can get over that. Decision making looks very good. Work rate sensational as well, and yeah, some really nice attributes to his name. Good agility, I say pace, stamina, very good. Marking and tackling, they're okay, and at 24 you can see there half a star maybe to improve upon, and if those go to 13s and 14s, then we'll be a lot happier with that, as well as some of his mentors doing a similar thing. Crossing and dribbling of 10 and 11 I think is probably going to be okay. If it was more sort of 4 and 5s, I probably wouldn't have even gone for him, but yeah, it's a decent enough level for me to be happy with it. And of course the crossing of Morgan on the right hand side, I think it's 18 crossing now for him, surely makes up for the fact that if our wingers are getting forward, we've still got a quality delivery at least on one side. And if you, to be fair, if you put the ball in towards Lemons, viewers, doesn't matter if it's a quality delivery or not, he's going to get it on his head some way, somehow. So squad wise then, I mean team wise we'll go to first, in fact, as we talk through really what we're going to try and do for the rest of this summer. There's a few players who I'm trying to move on, or at least have a year away from the club so we can get them back maybe in the future. But you can see the guard the goal remains in goal. Morgan, Mendy, CS and Alkin. You can see that 3 at the back, Morgan, Mendy and CS, still still there. Centre-back is a position I want to strengthen in. Not necessarily in terms of a starter. I think at 31 CS is still a very, very capable defender. And the same applies to Mendy, who, of course, we brought in last year. I think will slot in perfectly in the Premier League and will do a fine job. Yeah, really pleased with his arrival last year and will continue to be good this year, I hope. Though it feels an interesting one. Hurtado and Onoma were really, really good last year, and Joshua Onoma is sort of the classic 3-star player that you would prefer maybe someone who's 4 or 5 stars to be in there. Of course you would, but in terms of output last year, 8 goals, 3 assists, a 7.21 for a player that traditionally, in my opinion, isn't even a player that plays in this central midfield role. Is far more accustomed to playing in the attacking roles, especially early in the game on the Football Manager 2019 cycle. But I'm really pleased that he played so well last year. If he can carry on that this year, then we could be fine. Scored some absolute bangers, of course, so we may see a fantastic player on our hands throughout the rest of this Premier League season. Gudmundsson will play behind Lemons ordinarily, but of course we've brought in a few players here and there, and Erik Karsrud, whose name I'm still not pronouncing correctly, on the right, with Chambers on the left. The big miss, I guess, and I didn't really mention it actually, quite a few players have left on a release video. I say quite a few, 2 big names. Sisto and McGinn are the 2 big ones that have left the club and have joined other places. Feyenoord for McGinn, and Sisto's been picked up by Torino. So, yeah, Sisto is a player I'd have loved to keep around. He just didn't want to talk to me about a contract extension, so you can't extend the contract. In other news, though, you can see straight off the bat then lots of players potentially coming in, quite a few midfielders, whether they be central or loanees. I'm not looking to spend a massive amount of money on players that I don't think improve us massively. So we'll have to wait to see what happens with this. You can see Carlos Elena was a player at Barcelona I thought about loaning, but it was a lot per month. So I didn't want to do that. And I do think this guy from Leipzig, who we're potentially going to get, German 23-year-old, just looks slightly more well-rounded. Will play that sort of box-to-box role, maybe slightly better. I say this, his natural fitness isn't great. That might be something to consider. Once again, though, at Real Madrid, Jonovic, I guess is how you'd say it, a player that we looked at last year. 6'5" of tank is what I'm deciding. If Onoma doesn't quite live up to standards, we've got a man ready to come in and replace him. Yeah, I mean, he's got everything, hasn't he? Bratislav Jonovic, I mean, yes, yeah, please join. He's got another offer from Nice, so it's us and Nice right now battling for him. A few other sides interested as well. I would really like him to play for me. I don't need to scout him. I can see he's amazing. And then finally at the back, Martin Eller, just a good, decent backup centre-back, really. Very good heading, marking, tackling. Mentals, yeah, look really good. Concentration, decision and determination, especially good. Positioning's not bad either. And physically, incredibly well-rounded for someone so young. So, yeah, of course, I don't think he'll be a starter in our side. We've got Schurz still here as well as Joe Acosta, who remains at the club as well. And I think now, depth-wise, especially at the back, we look pretty good. And the same applies to the forward areas. Skinner is still here, of course. Svoboda, who we signed in the January of last year and didn't really have much of an impact, is still at the club as well. And I expect at some point this year to play a part. The real question is going to be for me is Lemons going to score goals? You can see now, current ability-wise, according to our assistant, it's 2.5 stars. Is that going to be enough for us this year? I don't know. I really don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. He had a terrific campaign last year, and if he can get anywhere close to that, then we're going to have a good player on our hands. If he gets maybe 10 goals, I'll be happy. Because I do think going into this league campaign, it's going to be challenging. We're not predicted to do particularly well. 17th, I would take it right now. But whether it'll happen or not, I don't know. There are some players in this Dream 11 that are ridiculous. We've talked about Deckers before at Liverpool. He is outrageously good. There's a guy at Chelsea. Is it this guy? Is it Tal? I mean, that's not even fair, is it? English player as well, Kieran Tal. There are some amazing players in this division that I don't necessarily think we are anywhere near the level. Well, in fact, I know we're not near the level at right now. So we'll have to see how things go. The transfer window closes then in a few days' time with Manchester United, our first game. That will be tomorrow's episode as we continue, hopefully, to get in a few of these loan players and we can have a real look at what the squad is going to look at moving forward. I feel like this has been quite a concise video. I've talked through it quite well. I've not done a transfer stream for a while. A few of you might be wondering why. Really, the last few windows, whether it be Boston or Aston Villa, have either been too hectic or not really hectic enough. And I kind of knew that going in. I didn't expect this Villa transfer window to be very exciting because we were so good last year. I didn't feel like massive improvement amongst all of the side was necessary. And based on the comments that you guys left as well, there was 1 or 2 positions, maybe striker, I think a few of you said, left-sided winger, maybe another one of them should come in. And that's probably the one role in this video we might look at trying to bring in as well. But yeah, you can see there a pre-season report for Leicester. Thank you very much. In terms of captain then, that's one thing we don't necessarily have too many of, and that's leaders. There's a temptation to play Gareth Hanna as the captain for most games, but we don't necessarily start him in most games, and Jack Hurst probably won't either. Whereas CS, who's been a regular in our sides, I think that's the man I'm going to give it to. Just switch that around. I didn't even warn Hurst, but I think he knows. I brought a left back in to replace him. He surely knows, viewers. Of course, on that left-hand side, we have got Skinner. So Skinner or Chambers would play there. I do think losing Sisto though, and of course Tony Wright before that, who by the way is available on loan, but we've already got 2 Premier League loans, so we can't get him. It's a curious, interesting situation that I think we still need someone out there, but I'm not going to just blow money out there for no reason at all. That said, if we can pick up a loanee that plays out there that might be to our taste, then we will do. See, this guy is the guy, Franco Lanzetta, the Italian. He might be the one player out there. He's got very good physicals, dribbling's quite good, crossing not great. Some of his mentals are very good, but I'm not sure he's the right fit right now. Our crossing game is massively important, so we're going to try and focus on that, I think. Interesting, Ben Woodburn is, I think he might be transfer listed actually, yeah, 13.25 million. Hasn't progressed incredibly well. He's still very good. Mentals are very, very good. Pace-wise, not as quick as I'd expect him to be, maybe at 27. Dribbling, finishing, first touch, all very good. Can play in the forward areas, can play as that inside forward as well. He's the sort of player I wouldn't mind loaning, actually, but they're not interested in that at all, so never mind. Of course, we could get Kisinga Medea back at the club. Crystal Palace not too interested in keeping him. Had a fantastic spell in the Championship for them last year. And now, look at that, 12 goals, 16 assists, fantastic stuff. Of course, former Boston player. As a backup on that left-hand side, is he going to be our man? I mean, he's transfer listed at 9.5 million. No, he's not. Just looking through this list based on the value of the players, and no one is jumping out at me right now. And that is partially, I mean, I've looked through it before. This is partially why I've not gone out and got someone. If they're not there and not available, I'm not just going to force it for the sake of it. And yeah, sure, I've put in bids for Coutinho and Lukaku this summer, and we haven't got them. Kondogbia, he doesn't fancy it. You never know, someone might pop up, but so far, no. By the way, viewers, and it's fair for me to say this, bloody hot, isn't it? It's ridiculous. I mean, come on now. It's sweltering. It is absolutely sweltering. We've had a transfer bid for goalkeeper Joel Wildsmith, who is a third choice really. And actually, we're going to get about 5 million for him if he plays a little bit. So we'll get him in there. Why not? It's definitely 4 million. It might end up being even more. As now, Harold Pullmans has had a bid come in as well. A little bit concerned because we've already got in for him and offered him a contract. Yeah, 19-year-old Belgian, plays at the moment for PSV. I think just looks absolutely fantastic. And I would really like to have him as our additional right-wing option. Hopefully we can do. We'll have to train him to play a little bit further forward as he's not a natural there right now, but I certainly think we can do that, especially when he's only 19 years of age. But Udinese have decided to poke their nose in, which I'm not happy about. Joe Acosta has had a transfer request again. It's not like you're a fantastic defender, mate, so I don't know why you keep doing this. I'm not doing it, though, because I've not found the defender yet. I mean, if we get this other guy in from, I can't remember where it was now, Germany, wasn't it? If we get him in, then maybe we can let him go. But not until that's happened, as we went out 9-0 winners against Wolverhampton Sporting Community. It was set up for that reason, and that reason exactly, for us to dominate. And Dylan Chambers getting 3 goals, lovely. A lot of question marks on him. He's the one player, from what I've seen in the comments, that people still aren't too sure about. So if he has a good year this year, he can prove those doubters wrong. You lot, basically. Right, I'm actually going to decline to take part in deadline day because I feel like even if you say, yes, I take part, or even if you say I don't take part, you still end up taking part, so it's fine. We've got 3 spaces left in terms of players that we can have ready and raring to go. We've got 9 players trained in England as well when you need 8. So team-wise right now, squad-wise, I'm not looking to let anybody go at this point unless some crazy bid comes in somewhere. But yeah, especially when I get a couple of players in maybe to strengthen things. Says, oh my goodness me, I've seen it, viewers. Pullmans has gone to Watford. That's annoyed me immediately off the bat. But Ella, the wonder kid centre-back who I really wanted to get in, is indeed coming in. I think that's going to be a really nice player to have as a backup option for us. So you're in the van, done, easy plays, as Vergara is going to have a loan move out as well. We've gone from Estudiantes. River won him for a season, which is absolutely fine. I think that makes a lot of sense for us. And yeah, of course, we can get him back whenever. We can recall him if needs be, if we manage to get that work permit, maybe in the January period, for example. Elsewhere, this is the big bit of news, viewers. Jonovic is going to come in. He's going to join us. The scout report isn't amazing, fairly inconsistent, but I think in terms of the quality that he brings, the 4-star ability as well, straight off the bat, in that Mazzala role, a role that we play and enjoy playing, yeah, he's got to be in here, hasn't he? Lovely little transfer. As we've also got another midfielder. And am I going to stack the midfield with young prospects that we can maybe sign in the future? Can play a little bit deeper as well, which does make me a little bit more interested. I do think we need depth in this area. So Conrad Al-Ramsender, which is a great name. Once I get used to that, I'm going to enjoy that a lot. I think is going to join as well. That one is tricky. We can get Will Smith out straight away. He can go. He doesn't have to be here anymore. And there's been offers for all sorts of players as well elsewhere. This is the big one, though. If we could find someone better, would we bring them in? Let's go have a quick look. We've got 28 million to spend, and there's still players out there that will potentially join us if we put in the right bid somewhere along the line. This guy, 30, I mean, he's transfer listed. Is he listed loan-wise? Is he 30 grand a week for Lucas Roberton, who I'm sure lots of you will be familiar with? To me, strikes me as much better value. We're paying him 30 grand a week for a player who's far more well-rounded. Just to show you again quickly, you can see there, look. I mean, he's 30 now, but boy, has he got some nice attributes on him. I think there's not really a contest, is there? It's whether you want someone who's young, looking to impress all the time, or whether you want someone now to come in and be a rock for you. I think it's tricky. Do I get them both in? That's the real question. But am I going to lose spaces? Midfield-wise, there's not a huge amount of depth. Of course, we've not gone forward so we can see the boys that have just come in. But either way, I'm 50-50 on it. I think because the thing is, there's quite a big fee for, like, if I'm not using him. 300 I'm not going to do it. I thought about it to begin with, and he looked like a decent option, but I think if we can get this guy in from, we've already had it accepted, this guy in from Atalanta, that makes lots more sense to me, as, yeah, a couple of guys have come in as well, so I'm happy with those additions. All right, we tried to get him in the Championship last year, we couldn't get him tied down, but now Jonovic has come in, can play in the Hurtado role, can play in the role next to him, where Onuma is currently playing as well. That's a good bit of business for me. It's also worth mentioning that Ryan Ball, of course, our young 16-year-old, is going to be in the first team squad this year, and I'm going to try and give him as much game time as possible. He's a guy that I'm going to try and pin a lot of the future hopes of this team on. So if Ryan Ball can perform, his potential ability's gone up as well, which is exciting. Maybe our scouts to begin with didn't get it quite right, and he could be in theory, a fantastic player. So yeah, let's hope for that, of course. All right, so one more central midfield addition, and I think our window is almost done. That said, viewers, I do want a winger. I do really want a winger. I think it's the one area that if we have issues in, we're going to struggle next season. Ideally, I want someone that can play on both sides. That would be absolutely perfect. But let's look for that. Kasinga Medea? No, not Kasinga Medea, though. Now, here's an interesting option. Jack Clark, who can play on either side, can play as an inside forward outside, can play on this right side as well, isn't a phenomenal talent, like in terms of overall attribute-wise, but at 26, English as well, which is important to me because I can get him in the squad more then. But it's got a lot of pace, great agility. The crossing is what's making me interested. That flare, dribbling, crossing, that triangle of attributes is really impressive, as is the agility and acceleration, to be fair. Maybe you, mate. Maybe you. Now, I think we have to buy 1.7 million's the fee. As long as they don't want loads on a contract for him, we should be okay. Like, there's players like Nicolas Pepe, who's 32 now, who just doesn't have the crossing ability. And if I'm going to play Lemons up there, or anyone really, I want the delivery into them to be very good. 35,000 is what he wants off the bat. We're going to try and lower that down a little bit. Maybe incentivise it a touch as well. So if we survive in the Premier League, which I do expect us to do, we'll give him maybe 200,000 for that. If we lower his contract a little bit. We'll see what he says to that off the bat, and he's happy. So again, incentivised contract. Overall, we'd probably pay him about the same amount over a period of time anyway. So yeah, that's not too bad. As we come towards the closing of the deadline day. Squad-wise, I think on this final day we've made some good additions. Lewis Price has wanted, he's our backup keeper, so that ain't happening. Price wants to discuss his future. I don't want to discuss his future, so no, not doing that. Don't be daft. There's no time left now, fella. So Clark in then, Jack Clark. I think it's a good addition. I really do. I don't necessarily think I need to scout him because the crossing, dribbling, flair. That's all I'm really looking for. Knocks the ball in front of him down the right as well. I like all of those things. Cuts in from the left-hand side. Hugs the line. Those as well. Player preferred moves I love as well. They're really good. And for 1.7 million, I think that's decent. As we've had a work permit rejection on Lucas. Lucas, no, come on. He's the one man that if we get him in as well, this has been a very, very successful window. Do I have enough spots for him? Yeah, I do have I have one more spot then. So Jack Clark in, another homegrown player as well. So that's really what we were looking for. That's what sold it above some of these European talents that may be slightly better, or like these lone kids from Juve that are a little bit younger, as he's not got a work permit. That's good news. And now the bids have come in for Costa as well, who, because we've just brought in Ella, I think having Ella and Schurz as our backup centre-backs, I'm more than willing now to let Costa go. I'm not really going to play him. Actually, it's an actual offer from Fulham for him. They've offered real money. Let's say 4 million. I mean, if we can actually sell him, this could be great. Right, let's see. 4 million, 20% of the next sale, and they like that, and I like that too. I just think with 11 heading, he's never going to massively improve. And now Robertone is not willing to join. Great. Well, that's gone well then. Is there time to bring in a central midfielder? Do we need to? It's suddenly got very hectic towards the end, viewers. It started off I knew what was going on, and now I don't know anymore. So in terms of current ability, 6 average, it says there. But our first two, Jonovic and Hurtado, definitely going to have to play for me next year. I don't know what I'm going to do with Onoma now, who's definitely our third choice in there. Ryan Ball can play there. Hannah can play there. Goodmanson can play there if absolutely necessary. I still think we need another body in there. Maybe you can play a little bit deeper. See, this is the sort of role as well. I will happily take someone who's got more experience. I don't think there's any real issue with that at all for me. This guy maybe? Romario Barro at Frankfurt. I think he might have a release, but he's so well-rounded, isn't he? He can do basically everything as well. He's the kind of player that I really, really like the look of. Question is, do we have time to bring him in? It's transfer listed by request. I'm going to offer the value. They might put this up a little bit. No, 7.75 million for Barrow. This could be late doors. This could be really good business. Is he injury prone? Let's just make sure. No, he's not. Not injury prone in the slightest. So he'll be a really consistent performer. We're going to have to move quick here, though. Not a lot of time left. As it's not a panic buy, because it's a player that I do think we need. It's currently on 51,000 at Frankfurt. We're going to, our assistants helped out a little bit. We're going to offer 40 to begin with and just see. 4-year contract's a long time. I want that to be a 3-year contract, ideally. And again, we're going to incentivize it that if we can stay up, and we'll give him an extra few 100,000 as well. Let's see what he says to that. He's not overly chuffed with it. He wants, see if he can do 50. That's fine with me. 4-year contract. I want 50 on 3. I feel like he might not want this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, he does. Okay, 50 on a 3-year deal. I don't think it's too bad. Still got a little bit of sell-on value to his name as well. Only 27. Like, I was looking for someone experienced, but I think bringing in someone who's potentially in their prime, that's good business. Let's hope he gets a work permit and all that good stuff as well. As right, there we are. Look, done. 7.75 million, 10 million deducted. Still 20 to spend in the January if needs be. But that's our summer. Pretty much done. Costa's going to leave as well. So really, on that transfer, it's cost us about 3 million overall, excluding some of the fees, obviously. But yeah, there we are then. Good squad player in his prime years. I think that's a good player to bring in, and I think we needed to as well, big time. So let's get him registered and let's see where our squad stands going into this year. Again, I think the only position that we maybe lack real good quality depth in, and this is where January might turn our attention to, is these wider areas. That we've got lots of players that can do it. Svoboda can play out on this right-hand side if absolutely necessary. Skinner can play the same on the left-hand side, but we are going to be relying massively on Kurzrod and on Chambers. Jack Clark will hopefully maybe still deal with some of that, and again, we've got a good quality squad player in there with him. But team-wise, for a team that have just been promoted for the Championship, I'm happy. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this sort of episode, it was a little bit different to normal. It was quite concise. We were making moves and making big decisions. But yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, of course, please do drop a like on it. If you want to see some more, subscribe to the channel. And if you're very hot, I feel for you. With love, with care. From me, until next time, I'm going to go have a cold shower. Goodbye.